Wonder if all my bad decisions get accounted in the algorithm.
What's up, geeks? I actually tried to do this video outside, but it's just too windy. I'm working on getting a professional camera. I'm gonna get one of those Sony AS3s or whatnot, ACS3, and I'm also gonna get a better mic. Utah's pretty windy right now, so when I actually try to get in the mountains and give you guys a good look at the city, it just gets way too windy. So I'm gonna get one of those like rabbit tail microphones. But anyways, in this video, I'm going to tell you why you should steal as a software developer. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is because when you just get into software development, you're trying to land a job, you basically have to build up your portfolio. Portfolio is going to be an accumulation of all your projects, and then you basically want the company that you want to work for, you want them to review your projects, review your GitHub. And I'm just going to be honest, man, a lot of y'all aren't creative. One of the recruiters, what they were telling me, they were saying that a lot of engineers, what they do is they watch these tutorials, and a lot of those tutorials are really basic, and it's like a note application, and that's not really going to show any kind of creativity. And you may have the skills, and a lot of you guys just want to get that engineer money, that engineer moolah, which is nothing wrong with that. But if you want to really set yourself apart from other developers, you're going to have to do something unique, and the best way to do that is to just copy an existing application. So in this video, I'm going to give you the reasons why you should actually do that. Stay tuned.
I ain't a hollow man, I'm full of them fall winds. Take it all with a tall grin, and if you feel it, do it with me, and just sing what the song says. Take it all for what it is. It ain't all so big, so big, so big, so big. Take it all for what it is. It ain't all so big.
So the first reason I'm going to cover why I believe developers should steal their ideas is because you get to think out of your box. Like I said, a lot of you guys aren't creative, or you don't have a good idea of how an application is supposed to flow and how it's supposed to look. You're not aware of the user experience while using an application. So the best way to do that is to actually copy a very popular application that already works. You can do something like Pinterest, you can do something like a Facebook or whatever. And the purpose isn't just to copy the application. The purpose of it is to actually get a feel for how the users will actually experience your application. You want to understand why navigation works the way that it works. Why this company used these specific colors. Why do they have these certain fonts? What is the message they're trying to convey? I know for the first company I worked for, when there were any kind of design issues that I actually implemented within the mobile app, the CEO of the company was like, hey, I want you to do research on your changes, and I want you to explain to me why this will work. And then once I did that, Stanford did a few research studies. A lot of companies do these studies. A lot of schools do these studies. And within these studies, I guess even like specific colors, they have a certain meaning behind them. So when you're building an application, you have your way of thinking, and then the fact that you have to be open to how another company or another designer thinks, and that's going to help you expand your learning. I actually had a bad experience in this. When I first started designing the mobile app for the first company I worked for, you guys can actually check it out in the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. You can't get into it because it's a medical application, but you can download it. But anyways, when I first started developing this application, I was assigned full responsibility for putting together the look and the feel of the application. Now, I had a supervisor who just didn't like that. He wanted to give his 2 cents, and I was told that I was going to have full responsibility over that, and the doctors, which were the users of the application, they were going to be the ones that governed that, and a few internal people. But my supervisor couldn't accept that. So when I was actually designing the application, I designed the navigation around Pinterest. Not Pinterest, sorry about that. It was around Quora. And I may be wrong about this, but I believe Quora is owned by Facebook, or some Facebook developers actually built Quora, and Facebook invested in it, something like that. So I actually designed our navigation based off the same navigation system that Quora uses. And my supervisor, he got in a big fuss about it. And then I was just like, well, it's not really up to me or you. it's up to the user of the application. There's multiple designs. And he said, well, that's bad design. I was like, well, Core does it. And he looked it up. Then he just started yelling. It was an ego thing. He started yelling like, oh, it's bad design, yada, yada, yada. He had a one-track mind. He had a way of thinking. When you're actually copying another application, the whole purpose of this is not to critique it. The purpose of it is to be open and to learn a new way of doing things. Don't have the need to be right all the time. Sometimes it's cool to be wrong. It's not even necessarily being wrong. It's just learning something new. So be open to other ways of doing things.
I've been on ghosts as a kid. Now I got house full of kids. Where I keep when you're sick. Keep making that money flip. I've been on ghosts as a kid. Now I got house full of kids.
My next reason why you should steal ideas is because you get the opportunity to build complex applications. A lot of times, depending on how you think, sometimes you can overthink. Like I was in this position where I built a mobile app, but then I kept thinking like, it can be better. How can I make this app better? Oh, it needs more, And then it got to the point where I didn't even release the application. So I was overthinking when I really should have just took a look at the basic functionality of that application. What was the need? What was the point of having the application? And make sure that application addressed that problem and put it out there. And then once it's out there, I can make incremental builds. Now, you might be in a position where you just don't know what to do. You might just have 2 screens on your application, the login screen and the home screen. Now, by stealing these ideas, you can build a complex application, and it's going to teach you how you should actually build a professional application. A lot of these applications, they have multiple different buttons, and all those buttons, they redirect you to specific screens, and then within those screens, it has its own functionality, its own reason, its own purpose behind it. When you're building these applications, you start to understand why these screens are here in the first place. It's going to give you an idea of how you should build your own applications. For example, let's look at an application like Instagram. On Instagram, what can you do? The basic functionality of Instagram is posting pictures. Now, once you posted that picture, what else can you do? When you upload that photo, you have the option to change the coloring of that image. You can add your text, just tell your story about that image. You can also add hashtags. Okay, we have that there and there. That's a total of 2 screens. The screen where you upload it, screen where you change the color, and then also the next screen where you actually write down the location and the documentation around that image. Next, once it's uploaded, you're redirected to the home screen. Now on the home screen, there's other functionality. You can leave a comment or you can like that photo. You can scroll through. On your footer, you know that you have the option to see what's popping now, what are the most popular posts, and you also have, like, on the footer you can go to your profile. You want to get in the habit of thinking in a complex way, because if you can think in a complex way, you'll start to create in a complex way. And also give yourself deadlines, because a lot of engineers can have with the way we're wired is we always find problems. We're always looking for things to be better, and the best way to get around that is to actually have a deadline. Say, at this date, no more. I'm moving on to the next stage, and you have to stick to it. So if you can stick to your deadline and then also thinking about complex applications, there's no doubt in my mind it's going to propel you to becoming a professional software engineer.
Things are getting intense, using up my 6th sense. Thought you had us figured, I can't use me at your expense. They be on that pretense, we be on some defense. Left you in the past tense, you could keep your 2 cents.
Now my last and final reason why you should steal ideas is because you learn different tech stats. When you actually are copying these applications, you're going to realize that you can't build all these applications the same. And whether that's going to be on the front end or on the back end. And when you're doing this, like sometimes, for example, if you there's a login screen, a lot of these sites nowadays, they're requiring you to, after you've logged in, you successfully created an account, you're emailed a PIN number, and then you're supposed to be using that PIN. You're supposed to add it to the website, and then you're authenticated and redirected to the home screen. Now, a lot of people wouldn't know how to do that, but if you were to try to mimic that, it's going to teach you to think differently. You'll think, okay, I have a form here. I need to submit this data, send that data to the API. The API gets that data, it checks everything. The user is now authenticated, but before we give them full access, before we pass back that token, we want to see, okay, is this an actual user or is this like some bot? So they have API services that handle emails. The major companies, they have their own built-in email service. But anyways, because you know that you need an email service to handle sending that email, you're going to look for tools that allow you to do that. And actually, there's a collection of a few tools that actually handles this text messaging and things like that. And I can't even think of it off the top of my head, but there are about 2 of them that I should be familiar with. But my point is that you'll learn how to use different tools. You know, some of these applications, they may have maps, and you can look at the map, and sometimes they're using basic Google Maps, but they may have their own custom design. You may need to use another third party outside of Google to actually build that full functionality, or to get the app to look the way that it needs to look. So this is the beauty of actually stealing ideas from other companies. I hope that this video has served you well. Like, comment, subscribe. You can check out my courses in the description below. You can also get access to the free webinar, which is below. So check that out. And like I said, I'll catch you guys next time.
Can I trust a soul? They gon' turn on you the quickest.